Now we have the compound verb with transitive vector. So in this case, when the vector verb, the V2 is transitive, the whole compound verb becomes the transitive because it will take the ergative case and sometimes it can take the object also. Like when transitive vector verb is used, the compound verb remains transitive. So but thus in the perfective aspect, the subject is marked by ergative name and the agreement with the direct object. Why? Because the subject is marked by the ergative case name, so it blocks the agreement, and then the V2 agree with the object. So that is the pattern for transitive vector, like subject plus name, object of direct or sometime oblique also, and the main verb and the transitive vector verb which is inflected for the object. With this object, it is inflected. The vector verb inflected for this object or agree with this object. So उसने खाना खा लिया. So liya is the transitive vector verb. Khana is also the transitive main verb. So it will take the object khana and it is also take the irrigative ne because of the transitive verb of liya. Because of this transitive vector of liya, the subject takes the ne irrigative and it also takes the object. Khana kha liya, like here the lena is the transitive vector marking the completion and subject involvement. Now we have some other transitive vector verbs and their semantic function. So transitive vector adds the aspectual, attitudinal and intentional nuances to the main verb. So these things like the aspectual nature, attitudinal nature or intentional nuances coming from the vector verb, not the transitive verb. So like the vector verb lena, उसने किताब पढ़ ली, so it gives the function of subject as benefit, initiated or completeness of the action. And देना, उसने बात कह दी, so indicates the affected or on another transfer the completion or the decisiveness. देना gives the meaning of completion, decisiveness. And डालना, उसने पानी फेंक डाला, so it emphasizes forceful, suddenness or thorough action. So that is the function or the nuances given by the transitive vector. Like रखना, उसने चीज छुपा रखी है. So रखना की तो suggests deliberate action, temporary result often means keep doing or keep in a certain state. So this meaning come from रखी, छुपा रखी है. Now we have some, so these are the semantic and aspectual effect we are explaining. So that we have already explained, like lena and dena frequently mark for completion or the finality of action. Like मैंने चाय पी ली है, मैंने बिस्कुट खा लिया है, मैंने खाना खा लिया है, मैंने किताब पढ़ ली है, मैंने खत भेज दिया है. So this kind of aspectual completion means the perfect aspectual or which comes the meaning of completion. And there is some agentive control also when we have the perfective aspect. So the transitive vector often implies the control or the volitional involvement of the subject. So subject in the agentive control, like उसने दरवाजा बंद कर दिया. So दिया is in the कर दिया is the compound which gives the meaning of agentive control to the subject उसने, which is intentionally and which gives the meaning of intention and completeness. But it is only occur with the कर दिया is the perfective aspect. When we are saying वो दरवाजा बंद कर रहा है या वो दरवाजा बंद करता है, so in this case the subject is not marked with the name marker. Why? Because there is no perfective aspect, so it is controlled by the perfective aspect. वो दरवाजा बंद कर रहा है. वो दरवाजा बंद कर रहा है. So here कर रहा is the compound verb. So it will not take the subject with the ergative name. Like there is no name. Why? Because of the raha is not the perfective aspect. It is the progressive aspect. So it will not take the ergative subject on the ergative marker on the subject. So this is the grammatical behavior. So that we have discussed many times. So when the vector verb is transitive and the compound verb is transitive as a whole, so therefore in the perfective aspect, in particularly the perfective aspect, the subject take the ergative name and the agreement occurs with the direct object. Like उसने खत लिख लिया. So उसने खत लिख लिया. So लिया will not agree with subject. Because it is in the perfective aspect, so it will take the name, so it belongs the agreement. So लिया agree with the खत. उसने चिट्ठी लिख दी. So दी agree with the चिट्ठी in terms of feminine and singular. And now we have different cases of compound verb. Sometimes transitive plus transitive compound verb. So like example, उसने खाना खा लिया. So that is खा plus लिया. उसने खाना खा लिया. So that is transitive main verb, that is transitive vector verb. So the compound remains transitive because both verbs are transitive. And in the perfective aspect, the subject take the ergative case. Ergative case. उसने खाना खा लिया. अहमद ने खाना खा लिया. या when I say अहमद खाना खा लेगा, so that will not take the ergative case because the लेगा does not have the perfective aspect. And agreement with the direct object, with khana, with objects, and not with the subject because subject is blocked with the ergative name. So that is the structure like subject plus name, object plus direct. We are saying Ahmad ने पराठे को खा लिया. So normally we are not speaking this in this way like Ahmad ने पराठे को खा लिया. So but if I am saying that for the oblique marker on the object, so in this case the liya will not agree with either subject or object. Why? Because subject has Ahmad ne with the name marker and there is also the co-marker with the object. Parathe ko kha liya. Normally we are not speaking in this way, but I am just giving the example for default agreement. So in this case, the V2 does not agree with either subject or object. Now we have, so this is the example of kha. So semantically it gives the meaning of completion or control or intentional and often implies the agent or volitional or benefit. And there are other example, उसने बात कह दी, उसने किताब रख दी. So दी is also transitive, कह is also transitive, both are transitive, and it is in the perfective aspect, so it will take उसने ने marker. And the same case with उसने किताब रख दी. Now we have the combination of intransitive plus intransitive. So in this case, the compound remains intransitive and subject stays in nominative case. There is no ergative marker and the verb agree with the subject. So there is subject nominative plus V1 intransitive plus V2 intransitive, which is inflected according to the subject. Like वो हंस पड़ी, लड़की हंस पड़ी, लड़का हंस पड़ा. So हंसना is intransitive and पढ़ना is also transitive. पढ़ा. So the whole compound remains intransitive. So it gives meaning of suddenness, spontaneous or involuntary action. Like चिराग बुझ गया, उससे नींद आ गई. So that is आ गई is also intransitive plus intransitive. आना plus गया. Now we have the combination of transitive plus intransitive. So that is very interesting situation because the V1 is, so we have the example for this, so like पढ़ गया, वो किताब पढ़ गया. या वो खाना खा गया, पढ़ गया, you can say like पढ़ प्लस गया. So this is also transitive, and this is intransitive. So the whole vector becomes the intransitive. So subject remains nominative and it agree with the object. Like लड़की किताब पढ़ गई. If we I am saying that लड़की खाना खा गई. So in this case, this kha is the transitive main verb, which is the transitive, and gai is intransitive. So whole things become intransitive because it will not take the inni irrigative ne. So it is so the subject inflected or agree with the V2 in this case. And now we have the transit. So this is another example for transitive plus intransitive. वो किताब पढ़ गया, वो काम कर गया, वो खत लिख गया, लड़का खत लिख गया या खत लिख गया. So this kind of things we have in this particular transitive plus intransitive combination. So the main verb is padna is transitive and jana is intransitive. So the whole compounds become intransitive. So it gives the meaning of completion, unexpected success, or the lack of control, or the event is seen as spontaneous, resulting rather than deliberate. So like किताब पढ़ गया, वो किताब पढ़ गया, वो खत लिख गया. So that is something spontaneous result, not deliberate result. And now we have the combination of intransitive plus transitive. So in this case, so we have the word like has diya, like has plus diya. So here the hasna is intransitive verb and diya is the transitive verb. So they behave the transitive vectors. So determine the compound become the transitive because of the second verb is transitive. So whole compound become transitive. So in the perfective aspect, subject can take the ergative case because of the second verb is transitive. So it will if it will in the perfective aspect, so subject can the ergative case. Like उसने हंस दिया, उसने 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 थूक दिया, उसने छींक दिया, उसने खांस दिया. This kind of sentence we have. So the first V1 is the intransitive and V2 is transitive diya. So they agree with the subject with the object. Why? Because the subject is blocked with the ergative case ne. So that is the pattern subject plus ne object, which is direct object, and V1 is intransitive and V2 is transitive, which is inflected. Like example, उसने हंस दिया. So dena is transitive, so the compound is transitive as a whole. And semantic is intention, control, and forceful. So the other example like उसने रो दिया, उसने चीख मार दी. So this kind of example. वो हंस दिया, वो रो दिया. So that is the intransitive plus transitive combination where the whole compound become transitive. When the transitive is the perfective aspect, so it will take the ergative name and the agree. So the verb agree, the V2 agree with the object only. Now we have the compound verbs and subjective case marking. So it is already discussed somewhere in the previous slides, but now we are discussing these things like when we have the irrigative case ne and when we have the nominative case ne. So in Urdu Hindi compound verbs, the transitivity of the light verb we do play a crucial role in determining the case marking of the subject, particularly the use of ergative name. So when the V2 is transitive verb, so it so the subject can take the ergative name marker. Like उसने खांस दिया, वो उसने खाना खा लिया, उसने खत भेज दिया. So this kind of diya, liya is the transitive. So V2 is the transitive. So the subject takes the ergative name. But it is also depends on the perfective aspect. If there is no perfective aspect, so it will not take the name. Like वो खाना खा रहा है या वो खाना खा लेगा. So this kind of things does not take the ergative name. So compound verb consists of two verbal, either lexical one or lexical two. So that we have discussed. So the V2 has the crucial role in the assignment of the ergative name or the direct subject without name. That is the nominative case. So the condition of for the ergative name. So there are two conditions. One is the aspectual condition and the other is transitivity condition. So and the both things depends on the V2 only. So that it depends on the V2. So when the clause must be the perfective aspect. So when the V2 is perfect, the clause will be the perfective in the perfective aspect. And V2 light verb must be transitive. So in both condition, subject takes the ergative name. So there is no role of main verb. Either main verb is transitive or intransitive. So I will give the both example like अहमद ने खाना खा लिया. अहमद ने खाना खा लिया. So here kha and liya both are transitives. So because of this transitive V2, Ahmad take the ne subject, ne case marker. And when we say Ahmad ने हंस दिया. So here diya is the transitive verb, even the has is the intransitive, and because of this is the transitive V2 and in the perfective aspect, so subject take the irrigative ne, that is the Ahmad ne has diya. So it solely depends. So it basically depends on aspectual condition, which should be the perfective aspect, and transitivity condition. So V2 light verb must be a transitive for the irrigative subject. So thus, if V2 is transitive, the compound was is imperfective, the subject in the irrigative case. And V2 is intransitive and the clause in no is non-perfective, the subject remains nominative case without name. Like Ahmad खाना खाएगा या अहमद हंस पड़ा. So this kind of things will take the nominative case. So case marking depends on the V2, not V1 syntactically. So that is the another thing. So when the light verb is lena and dena, which is transitive, so it also implies the agency, control, completion. Therefore, the less than the ergative case. So the ergative case semantically something related with the agent and control and completion. So because of these things, because of the light verb transitive, so we have the ergative case. So that means there is some agency and control in the sentence. So the control is or the agent would be the subject because it takes the ergative case. And V2 is the verb express the other nuances like benefactive or self-oriented or disbenefactive or other-oriented action like lena and dena. So lena is to do something for oneself and dena do something for someone else. So they have also some role for the agency and control, but for Lena they are doing something for oneself, and Dena they are doing something for other one or someone else. So we have example for compound verbs and subject case marking, like उसने खाना खा लिया. So the compound verb liya is the perfective and the lena in the transitive. So here lena adds the sense of completion and total consumption. So it will take the ne marking. Like उसने काम कर दिया. So the same thing, subject mark the ne because the aspect is perfective and the dena is the transitive verb. So both lena and dena they both are in the perfective aspect and both are the transitive verb. So they take the ne marking. And when the V2 is intransitive, so it will not take the ne marking. Like light verb, jana, utna, padna are intransitive. So even when they combine with the transitive, even the whole compound become intransitive and therefore no negative marking appears on the subject. Like काम हो गया. यह लड़का काम कर चुका. यह लड़का काम कर गया. यह लड़का खाना खा गया. यह लड़का सब्जी ले आया. लाइक लड़का लड़का खाना खा गया. So here this is the transitive verb and that is the intransitive verb. So this is the intransitive verb, and because of this intransitive verb, the subject will not take the ergative name, even though it is in the perfective aspect. So the only the perfective aspect is not cannot fulfill the transitivity of the subject. It must be in the verb must be transitive also, along with perfective aspect. So in that particular case, it can take the name subject marking. Otherwise, it is in the nominative case and it will agree with the V2. And when we say they are like लड़के ने खाना खा लिया. So here the liya is the transitive and it is in perfective aspect. So it cannot agree with the subject because subject marked with the name marker. So it will agree with the object. So that is the case with the intransitive and transitive V2 for assignment in ergative ne. So that is the whole thing is going to explain the ergative ne in Urdu-Hindi is aspectually restricted, means it is restricted with the perfective aspect only. It appears only in the perfective aspect and never in the imperfect, habitual or progressive norms. Like वो खाना खाता है, वो खाना खा रहा है, वो स्कूल जाता है. ये वैसे उसने खाना खा लिया. So in this particular case, it will take the name marker. Or when we say that उसने स्कूल चला गया, उसने स्कूल चला गया. So it will not take the name. So this is the wrong. उसने, we are saying the वो स्कूल चला गया. Why? Because the गया is the perfective aspect, but it is in the but this is the intransitive verb. So it will not take this name. So in the perfective aspect, the verb expresses a completed action, usually marked by the morphologically a, e, a ending on the verb. So that is the agreement with the subject. So verb end with a for the masculine, for e for the feminine, for a for the plural. So when the compound verb is perfected and V2 is transitive, the ergative ne appears. And when the V2 is intransitive, there is no ergative case. Either it is imperfective or perfective, even in perfective also. So like उसने खाना उसने खा लिया, उसने खाना खा लिया, and वो मर गया. So गया is intransitive, so it will not take the subject ergative case. But it take the ergative case because is the transitive. Jana is the intransitive. So in the same thing we can say in the progressive aspect, like वो खाना खा रहा है and वो खाता है. So these things does not take the ne because it is also restricted with aspect. So the ergative case ne cannot assign in the progressive and imperfective aspect. In this case, we have only the nominative subject, irrespective of transitivity. Like वो सो गया या वो सो रहा है या वो जाग रहा है. So in both condition we have the nominative subject. या वो सोएगा, वो जागेगा. So both are things taking the transitive nominative subject. So in imperfective and progressive aspect, there is no name marking on the subject. Like वो खाता है, वो खा रहा है. We cannot say उसने खा रहा है या वो उसने खाता है. So that is the summary. So perfective aspect with transitive take the ergative case. So both things are necessary, perfective aspect and transitive. When there is a perfective aspect, what will transitive? It will not take the, it will take only nominative. Like उसने खाना खा लिया and वो सो गया. So this is the intransitive. And when we have the progressive, so either we have uh, uh, transitive or intransitive any, so it will take nominative. Or habitual also take the nominative. There is no means of transitive and intransitive. So I conclude here. So compound verbs in Urdu Hindi form one of the most dynamic and expressive feature of the language. So revealing a deep interaction between the grammar, meaning, and speaker intention. So they represent a fusion of main verb and the vector verb. So where the lexical verb contribute the primary action or the event and the vector verb adds an additional semantic layer, or sometimes it also adds the some pragmatic meaning, some compression, suddenness, volition, and emotional coloring. So on the aspect, number, gender, inflection, all these things controlled by the V2 verb, not the V1 verb. V1 verb just give the meaning of main meaning or the lexical meaning. And the vector verb plays a crucial role in determining the overall transitivity of the compound. If the vector verb is transitive, so the whole compound is transitive. If the vector verb is intransitive, so the whole compound verb is intransitive. So when it is transitive, so it will take the ergative marking on the subject. And when it is the intransitive, so it will not take the ergative marking. So for agreement pattern, when there is an ergative marking on the subject, so the V2 verb agree with the object. And when we do not have the ergative marking on the subject, so the V2 verb agree with the subject. Like उसने खाना खा लिया, so लिया agree with the खाना object. And when we are saying वो खाना खा रहा है, so रहा agree with the subject. वो like लड़का खाना खा रहा है, लड़की खाना खा रही है. So that is the thing with the vector verb. So in essence, the compound verbs in Urdu Hindi are not merely a grammatical phenomena, but it's a linguistic art form. So that is uniting the function and the feelings, the structure and subtlety. So they demonstrate how language evolved to reflect the cognitive, emotional, and the cultural dimension of human experience. So they are making Urdu Hindi both grammatically intricate and aesthetically profound. So this is all about the compound verbs. Thank you.